welcome to this month's full moon in Scorpio that's going to fall on the April the 27th, depending where you are in the world. And this is for people in GMT time, London time, some European times. And it's going to be at 4 a.m. in the morning, 4:31, in fact, a.m. And it's going to fall at 7 degrees in 5 minutes. Okay. So because of Scorpio is always to do with the underworld, to do with the belly of things. And I really feel that this full moon, if you haven't already been feeling the effects, and I think personally, as well as collectively, there's going to be this energy that is going to be already in effect by the time we get to the 27th of April. So if you go back to my new moon reading, the last one that I did, which would have been on the April the 10th or 11th, it's the last new moon reading anyway, you will find that I did say there's going to be something quite unexpected happening. And I think for some of us, including myself, there has been some very unexpected turn of events. Now, what's also important and interesting is the first card that flew out. And today I didn't actually lay any cards out apart from two. And the first one, as I was shuffling and clearing the decks and being open to the universe's connection for this reading, for this full moon, the first card that flew out actually was the storm warning, but it actually was on the reverse. Okay, and this is a theme of this month. This is a very important card to know, that for the next 4 weeks, next full moon to full moon cycle, which I think is really in keeping with the unexpected events. Okay, I'm looking also at my previous reading on the new moon. So my message then was actually be here now, take things step by step, moment to moment kind of thing. Okay, it's your timing and not of others. All right, so don't feel coerced to do anything that's not right for you. Balance and discernment, which was the last message as well, and fight your corner. And it's okay to move forward, and it's time to move forward. So I think this card really reflects that. Okay, it's a storm. There's been some shitstorm, some change, unexpected change. There would have been also redirection, reassessment, and certainly perhaps purging and clearing out, which is what is very Scorpionic. Okay, so it's a very Scorpion energy. It is happening for us so we can actually really start expanding our lives. Now, if I feel like it's like I just got an image of being on a ferry amusement park ride, where it's like being on a ride and you're sort of being swung this way and you're sort of being swung that way and you're sort of going down and then you're going up. And then there's that sense of kind of exhilaration, but at the same time having to really hold on tight. As I think I do recall saying that in my last message, and really coming from a place of your truth and your power, which will bring me straight into actually the inner strength card that that fell out from the chakras. Now I haven't done a chakra pull out. No, I have been doing it in the past, but I also know for a fact that I've not been using the chakra deck, which is an excellent deck here to focus on a particular chakra. And I particularly asked what chakra would be helpful for the viewers and the listeners that through this next 4 weeks will really support you. And this is very, I think, poignant, because they both actually, I never read this in the inversion, but this came out in the inversion, as with this. And look how similar they are. I mean, they both got thunderbolt going through. This is actually quite tricky to see. And I had to double look at it. And it's actually a human figure, almost covered in mud cracks. Okay, if you really look at it, can you sort of see it with the light there? There's a figure, there's a head there, and there's that shoulder there, and this is piercing in from the center. Okay, so something is asking of us to start digging deep and really bringing in our inner resources, our inner strength, whatever that may be. That could be for work for you, that could be perhaps past pain for you, that could be some habits for you. It could be a change of direction. It could be a change, unexpected winds of change, I would say, really. And it is really asking us, and whatever storm, it could be a breakup. Scorpio is also, could deal with the emotional self. And this is about the self revealing itself, its true self, and maybe us digging deep. All right, so the chakra here that's really important for this next 4 weeks, particularly one to hone into, will be the solar plexus. Okay, it is the theme of the warrior. It is the theme of being rooted in yourself, you know, sort of almost like the elephant energy of the elephant, if you like, to really take that in. But it is here to help us expand and take higher, almost like the higher road as well, and just trusting in the divine with anything that is reorientating you, redirecting you possibly. Okay. Now, the message I received in prayer and prior to doing these videos, so anybody who's following me and watches this already know that I do this generally each month or each bi-weekly, different new moon and full moon messages. And for this full moon, I actually got quite a lot of messages, and this may speak to only some of you. So take whatever message resonates, or don't take it, you know, whatever, it's there for the offering. So the message I got here is release dead ends. So I feel as well that it's really important we're digging deep, really start looking at what serves, what's not serving. Where have you got to a point where you're really noticing that something doesn't quite fit in your life anymore? Is it a particular friendship? Is it a particular thinking around this, a particular way of doing something, or doing a job that you normally do and you kind of normally apply for these jobs, but you're kind of noticing that it's kind of become a dead end for you, but you keep on doing that because that's where you are held, or you believe that you can do, and that's all that there is out there for you to do. Okay, so release dead ends, purify any negativity. Okay, and again, that is to do with your mind, any kind of negative thinking, any kind of friendships that you're holding on to that's really dragging the heels. You know, that's an energy leak as far as I'm concerned. I also got bullet points after this: purify any negativity. One I got was habits. So if you're somebody who over binges or indulges or eats a lot, or just constantly goes to a go-to habit that you know that is actually covering up for something that's not working in your life. And it could be also dead friendships. You know, it's better to have some negatives or some people in your life rather than actually be okay with being on your own, despite the fact that it feels maybe very uncomfortable. Okay, we tend to sort of build into habits because we're faced with discomfort. Okay, and some kind of anything that's uncomfortable will make us reach for habits. So pay attention to when you do that, when you reach for that donut, or when you're kind of eating more than you need to, or you just keep on going into the bag and just mindlessly eating your bag of chips or your biscuits or whatever it could be. Okay, now the other one I got, which also is the kind of the deeper layer of the habits: stop pretending all is okay. Okay, if you're one of these people that tend to think, oh yeah, life is great, or, you know, kind of coasting along, you know, I think sometimes deep underneath that, and I'm not saying that you're not having a great time and that you're not feeling the flow and you're not feeling great, but just sometimes it could be a misalignment, but what are you doing on the external and really what you're feeling on the inside, and you're not allowing yourself to really be in honor of it, if you like. And this could be some pretense that everything's okay, and when things are not. So perhaps you're afraid of what's going to happen next, or perhaps you're unable to really own the fact that you've been emotionally hurt, emotionally abused, and somehow you comfort eat or whatever it is, or, you know, we can cover up. So anyway, stop pretending all is okay. And this Scorpio full moon, for sure, which what full moons do, will be highlighting this. Okay, there's different planetary aspects that are going to really bring this into highlight and into strength. Okay, so for some, it could be a very stormy ride. All right. But on the other hand, this cleansing, this purification, if you like, which is what thunders do, it lights things up, and it can also break things down. This will be for sure for some of you as well. Again, just take what resonates. You could be experienced. Okay, you could have already been experienced it coming up to listening to this reading, or you will actually may experience it round about the full moon or after. Okay, and again, these messages are, when I say timeless, they are recorded on the basis around the new moon, but the energy is also, it's on a ripple on effect. So pay attention. All right. You know, we're all born at different times. We're all got to have different experiences, but this is something that is going to be happening on a collective level, individually, so we can actually start shifting. And we've already seen this quite a lot in this full year as well. And we're not clear yet from this sort of path of digging deep and actually really purging. Okay, now here the other point I want to make is comfort habits to be released. So I think I kind of mentioned that in my speak there. Okay, so just to show you, this is what I've got another screen there. So this is the message. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the message I got. Now, also behind here, I've got another one, digging deep to cleanse. Okay. Now, this is also important, is keep what has value. I keep on getting an image of almost somebody digging, digging for gold or digging for diamonds. So you have to go through kind of the mud, you know, you have to sort of be digging to take the nuggets of preciousness, to bring the nuggets of gold out in you. So this is a real opportunity for you to really start digging deep and keeping what really has some alignment and congruency in your being. Anything that's not aligned, we really are being confronted to see it. And if we ignore it, we're going to experience the same thing over and over again. And it is not going to get any easier, and it's going to be quite painful. Okay, so, you know, I hate to say this, but mark my words, very important. Okay, these things are going to be coming out physically as well. And there could be physical ailments that you could be experiencing, emotional experiences. It could be, you know, because this is coming out. So instead of ignoring your emotions, you might think, okay, what are my emotions telling me? What is it I need to listen to? What is really here right now that I could really go in and nurture and nourish and pay attention to, so I can actually release perhaps what has actually been within me that I keep on accepting or not dealing with. Okay. So cleanse and keep what has value. Okay, so again, just digging deep for the nuggets of diamonds or gold or your power, whatever it is. Okay, clear out restrictions I've got here. We'll come back to that. Maybe the cards will inform us better. And time to free yourself. So again, I think this really kind of works in the theme of what I'm talking about. And particularly, I think Scorpio has a lot to offer in that. Okay, so I'm going to have a quick look here, what I've dug out from the files. It's to do with delving into your feelings as well. So for some, it could be very uncomfortable, like I said, okay, and we are forced to change. I mean, yes, this is a cleansing. This is a tornado going through, and it wipes things out and whatever's not working, okay? And maybe this is a time of evaluation and being really clear. And my last message particularly was about discernment, okay, which is really about being clear about when you hit a crossroads or when you're looking at something or you're making a decision, try and be really clear about what really fits. What's your baggage? What is your belief system that maybe is overruling something that's important to you? Or where do you really know that you don't want to go towards because you've been there and done that? And I'm not going to, you know, sort of ignore the signs. All right. It's very important. That's what discernment is. And because it was a new moon reading, these forecasts go over the full moon as well into the next new moon. So that theme is still very much part of the theme. So I'll put a link up here now. And so I recommend, or just go back to it in the playlist. It's the last new moon. And I think you might even get some, if you haven't seen it yet, do go back to it because it will also speak to you and tie in with this reading. Okay, so, you know, again, any relationships that do not satisfy you, right, they're here for you to let go. Okay, time to free yourself. Be really honest, you know, stop making excuses, you know, for people, things, and all that don't really speak to you anymore. Stop hanging out with people that you know are kind of, you're just, I don't know, have some history with, and because of the sort of ties that you've had with them, you're still allowing them to be in your life as if they're your pals or somebody you work for or anything like that. Okay, certain body parts to do with Scorpio here. I'm just going to have a quick look. To do with this full moon is very much the lower regions of the body. Okay, your prostrate, your urethra, your sort of your reproductive organs. Okay, and definitely do not have any surgery. And personally, if I mean I had any surgery booked in at this time, I would cancel it. Okay, but that's me. Anyway, I'm going to leave the sort of the moon vibe there and continue with the card reading. So let's have a look. I'm noticing my glasses look quite dark, so you can't probably see my eyes, but I can't actually see otherwise to give you this reading. So I'm so sorry if my tinted glasses from the sunlight coming through are over tinted. Okay, so like I said, we'll start with this. So this is the main theme of the month, and let's see what else we can actually sort of notice. Okay, so like I said, we're coming in with this thing, and what's really key is you start noticing and paying attention to your heart feelings and bringing some understanding into the circumstances, okay? Like we're all human beings wanting to be loved. We're all human beings with the same agendas, really, okay? So this is really important time to bring some personal understanding as well to yourself, and perhaps looking and digging deep to understand where things are coming from. Okay, the next card I got from this angel, the energy, I decided to use the Energy Oracle deck, which is by Sandra Taylor, who has various decks, but this, I normally do moon cards, but I'm using these cards because I'm feeling that the energy, we need to know what's going on. Okay, so I feel that the energy that we've come into as well in this space is very much about getting the balance right. You know, if you're, again, overextending yourself to certain friends, this is now a time to pull back. If you're somebody who's actually binge drinking or going out a lot or not spending enough time on your own, then you need to start doing that. This is very much about balance. And I think we could have even had that message the last time. But anyway, I've got the angel of balance here as well, which has come up. So this is very much key to what needs to happen. I feel like this is also a time to really, you know, if you've not been spending much time reflecting and sort of doing, despite the fact that we've had the pandemic restrictions, there is, restrictions. It really is time to start monitoring and being really clear and being very specific. I'm looking, my eyes have gone into this little lamp, and if you look at her there, she's really looking at this lamp and looking at the measure there. And this is time to be really discerning as well, to be looking at the fine, the finesse, if you like, of what you're really doing. This is about getting into the details of your life as well, and not over broad, okay? And just actually looking at where do, you know, because sometimes, you know, it may be really minor things, right? But eventually the balance will tip, okay? You just think, oh, well, yeah, I'll just let them, you know, somebody doesn't phone you back. And then you think, oh, well, you know, they're probably busy or doing this. But eventually the tipping point will be apparent, okay? So this is now a time perhaps not to wait for that to happen, but start noticing the smaller details, which are all in the details of life, where we're always shown given signs and direction, if you like. You know, stop ignoring what you know to be true for you, okay? Somebody on a different scale can take a lot of abuse, and that's where they're at. If you've already done a lot of inner work and you've got your boundaries straight and you've got your sense of self and integrity and alignment, kind of been really honing into that, you're not going to tolerate a lot of much of boundary breakers or people who are not honoring the word or whatever it is, okay? Because you can bet your bottom dollar this will happen over and over again, to the point, if it is one of your value systems that you want people to respect you, you will find that it will show up. All right, so this is really, for me, just right now telling me that one of the themes that we're really been asked and have come into for this full moon is really noticing where the balance is needs rectifying, okay? And then maybe get some clear understanding, maybe within yourself, as to why you keep maybe making these allowances, you know, for others who don't really show much respect or anything like that. Okay, but whatever is happening here as well, it is really important that you also open up your heart. I've got the fourth chakra. So I think this is also to do with Raphael, but this is also about the heart, and particularly forgiveness, perhaps for yourself, you know, again, digging deep to explore maybe where the allowances of continuing allowing certain people come into your life. I keep on coming to the people because I think this relationship, this reading for me is very much related to relationship, but there's also relationship, of course, to your employer, to people around you, maybe your housemates, maybe the work that you keep on saying yes to. And by working on your heart and being true to your heart, you're able to really access the integrity and the value you have for yourself, okay? The power center also for me is very much a heart chakra. Well, the heart can be soft and open and expansive. It is really important that as well that we really allow the boundary, if you like, and the awareness, and ask Archangel Raphael to support you and to cut the cords from anybody in your life that really has no place, or cut the cords of feeling inadequate or feeling that you don't deserve to have love for yourself, so you can actually pursue the things that you really want, and pursue and go towards the direction you really want. And this is combined with the inner strength card as well, which is very much the case as well. And in some way, this bolt of lightning is stemming not only from the main center point of this light, is actually from the high heart, or from the actual heart center, if you look at the kind of proportion of the body as well. So our inner strength comes from our heart as well. It's important that we really get into our core. I do feel for some of you, it's very much time. Look at this, time to free yourself. And this is the other card that came out, to walk away, to free yourself from people who no longer, I mean, I'm reiterating, so I'm just going to keep it away, but this is a confirmation, you can't make it up, as one would say, this is the time for yourself to free away, start going towards new pathways. You are going to be guided, okay? You might be getting a flicker of options here at the moment from where you are, where you're standing, but this is a time not to look back, but to move forward. And if you are going to look back, only look back in the sense that you take your lessons with you, okay? You really ask yourself, what is it here for me that I'm really learning and I don't need to take forward with me, okay? Do spend some quality time this full moon, making that your intention and your ritual for yourself, if you like, to really start honing in on being clear, because this now for me is a time of getting the details down and moving towards releasing yourself from anything that's held you back, okay, and cutting away anything and anybody that does not furnish or flourish you. You've always got two options, okay? We've always got options. We've always got choices, all right? We've got things that are going to help us blossom, and they're going to things that are going to inhibit our growth, okay? And I'm noticing this from the detail of the blossoms. If you look on the side there, there's a sort of nice branches of blossom tree, and this one hasn't got one as much, okay? So, which are you going to walk towards, okay? And like I said, you might get a glimmer right now from where you are, but trust the inspiration, trust the messages that you could be getting. And if you're not getting the clarity, wait for the clarity to arrive. All right. Explore your options as well through your heart. Okay. Just go back into your heart center. And I've said this many times before. And it is really important that sometimes you have a scale within your heart center. You close your eyes and you put two options. Okay. And you notice, what is a yes and a no. Okay. Because your body will not lie. Okay, we might rationalize, think, oh yeah, well, it's okay, but part of you might decide that actually, deep down that it's not okay. Okay, maybe explore that as well, why there is that conflict. All right, because this is a time, perhaps not with obvious results as we go into the from the full moon into the halfway through the full moon, approaching the full moon next month. So in the month of May, but you will find clarity, okay? You will able to sort of clear the path for be able to see clearly. All right, I'm gonna see if there's anything at the bottom of the deck, okay? At the bottom of the deck here, I've actually got women holding the coin. So maybe I think with this as well, it's about, again, the value, okay? Really notice what part of your feminine energy, if you like, or your heart energy really requires the price. So do not undervalue yourself wherever you might be going. If you're somebody who doesn't charge money, or you're somebody who keeps on getting self-abused, or keep just sleeping around, or whatever it is, just make sure that you value yourself and trust your intuition, okay? Just say to yourself, I am of high value and I'm the prize, or, I'm not going to sell myself short. Okay. If, you want to be get paid a certain amount of money per hour, stick to that value. Okay. And do not renege on it. And more importantly, trust your intuition. Okay. And speaking of intuition, I'm just going to go towards these cards, which is the Queen of Moon Oracle. Okay. I already shuffled them and I'm just going to see if there's anything else like a clarification card out of this new deck, which is not so new. I've used it twice now, but I've decided not to actually use them as my full read for this reading. Let's see if there's anything here that wants to pop out. Okay, this one's not, there's too many here. All right. Nothing I need to tell you. So whatever you need to do is just embrace your inner strength, okay, and the power of resilience. Some of you are going to be called to, like I said, dig deep, or you make those changes, okay. And this is about your unfoldment and allowing yourself to shine, all right, okay. And whatever challenges we get, you've got to know that it is there to serve our growth, all right. Sometimes it does feel like, again, really, but it has been a time, and we're shifting gears. We're all shifting, so we're all going to be releasing. Okay, I'm going to choose one since the cards are not wanting to pop out, and I'm just going to go to this one. Okay, that's so weird because this one actually fell out earlier. as well. So here we are. This is point of attraction. So really, I think, you know, it always amazes me, you know, despite the fact that I use my cards frequently, about how, and people use cards and always tell me this as well, that, you know, you put your card back in, you think, oh, you know, and then what happens is it comes out over and over again. So there's a message here for sure. And you see, this is a super moon as well. And to be honest, I don't know if this full moon is a super moon, but we are going to be shown the highlighted, and we're going to be able to see what we're attracting in and what we no longer want, or maybe even spending time to really shed the old so we can start attracting what we really need to call in on. Okay, she's sitting here in the landscape watching this massive moon, and there's a big light that's sort of coming out in the midst of this big moon, okay, and the sidescape. And there's two sides here. There's kind of more the darker side, the Mars kind of light there as well, I feel, which is to do with the action. So I think this is very much about going towards and attracting what you want and taking charge in that way, and also releasing anything dark. So you can actually, and also in some way, there's clouds lifting up as well. So there's going to be some kind of clarity. If you couldn't see it, you're going to certainly see it, and you're going to be able to see what you're attracting and maybe what you need to go towards. Okay, let me have a quick look. Anything else that I can add to this? Okay, like I said, this is a new deck for me. I can attract what I wish and repel what I do not. Okay, so I pretty much said that as well. So this is really important. This is the little mantra here. So I'm going to put it across the screen because I think this is a really important time now, because we're all going through shifts, and like I said, you know, the sparks of inspiration will be coming towards us, but it's only a small flutter maybe, and you need to be able to really, if anything, to affirm the inner strength and the boldness for you to claim your life by actually repeating, I can attract what I wish and repel what I do not want. Okay, so this is about an opportunity for you to actually, you know, almost put a huge barrier of light so you can actually stop bringing in the things, the people and situations that, you know, you really do not want to be attracting anymore. Okay, but it does help, obviously, if we actually work from the inside out, to see that, and you may start feeling that. Okay, you can be magnetic, it says, to others and attract the good things in life, and you can also repel what you no longer wish to attract. Okay, be ready for the opportunity, avoid extremes that might cause negative imbalance in your body or mind. So this is what's talking about, getting rid of oscillating behavior, okay, or extreme habits that really pollute the mind and the body and what have you. Okay, because I don't think sometimes people realize the effects it has on other people when you kind of over polluted, and the energy that comes out of that. Okay, it feels very toxic, and it also feels very jarring. Okay, anything else here I want to share? Okay, if we're all growing, we all want to attract experiences in our lives, positive experiences in our lives. This can be positive relationships and lifestyle that suits us better, clarity, love, prosperity, creativity, and the list goes on. All right, so equally, we wish to also perhaps to be able to repel the experience we don't want. It is important then to not just know what we want, but to be able to recognize what we don't. And I think I said this about, I don't know, another reading. It's really good. Okay, take the lessons learned, okay, of what you have found, where you have found yourself in, that you really don't like, or what's not serving you, or the people you're having to deal with that's really not, you know. And sometimes we get so much into this inner work as well about triggering and what have you. Maybe the truth is that you're really done with that kind of people. Maybe you're done with the kind of way of being spoken to. Maybe you're just done with being in a powerless situation, you know, and you don't have to keep on fighting it. Maybe you just decide that I'm actually not going to deal with this anymore. I don't have to. And I'm really clear about what works for me. And this is now time for me to move on. And I really feel that that is one of the key essence right now for many people. All right, wherever you are on the scale of your kind of self-awareness and self-growth and self-development and being in your power. Okay. Okay, attraction isn't just about what we accept, but how we discern. Come back to that key word, discernment. Okay, I think it's been really key, and it's certainly been a word that I've been really pondering on myself and being almost being allowed to really explore and experience that word discernment. Okay, so I think that's really important. Blindly attracting everything we think into our life. So, you know, like again, if you say, oh, I want a boyfriend, I want a man, or I want a woman, you know, you're not being specific as to what kind you don't want, and therefore you, to know what exactly you want. But if you just boldly say, I want this or I want that, you're just going to get what you get. Okay, so it's really important. That's where the discernment comes in. Okay, so this card also suggests that we think globally. for the whole. If you're making an intention of the supermoon, include one for the planet. I think this is also really important. I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and I was telling her that how I can't actually abide and tolerate people who are really switched off from the consciousness of what we're doing to the planet. Okay, and that's people who don't bother recycling. Now, this is only my opinion and my personal feelings, and it's become very apparent to me of late that being and, you know, sharing space, co-housing or whatever, that, you know, with people not doing that is a real issue for me, because I feel that somehow we are to wake up and become really conscious. Now, I'm not an activist, but I certainly do my bit. And, you know, I can't understand how people cannot be doing their bit at all, because we're all supplied with recycled material, bins, and we have that consciousness, we have that awareness, and we really need to start doing something, you know, to actually do something to save the planet and to honor it, including throwing litter, you know, not being bothered to throw something out or whatever it is. So anyway, that's my thing. But again, you know, that's become so clear to me now that I will not, you know, live with anybody who doesn't care, because I also see it as a reflection. If they don't care about that, they don't certainly care about their own bodies as well, and whatever else. And that's how it works. All right, folks, it's not just something external. This is very much mirroring how you also respect yourself, and, you know, and by respecting the planet as well. It just works both ways. Okay, I think we'll do one soul journey card as well, just because, why not? So this is, as you know, we're always on a soul journey in my full moon and moon readings, and any reading I do is based on our soul guidance. So let's see what any of this might be informing us. Choose one. So for some of you, I think this is really interesting as well, guilt. Now, don't let guilt hold you back. All right, don't let guilt about letting go of a friend, speaking up your truth, having to uproot yourself to something that suits you better, feeling guilty that you might let your parents down or a friend down, or you feel, it's not about even letting them down, it's about you feeling that that could be happening. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. All right, you know, this is about this, and I think this is where I was talking about digging deep and really exploring where our habits come from, as well as where our patterns or how we behave. Often it's from a guilt that we absorbed as children, you know, or we were told that if we don't do certain things in a certain way, or if you speak back to somebody, then you're a really bad person. Okay, you know, as a child, you're told that you don't get to speak back. The adults are always right, or, you know, what would the neighbors think, or, you know, so you actually start feeling guilty. You know, or maybe you want to honor yourself more, and you're going to start feeling guilty about what it means to your husband or to your wife or to your colleague, or you're somebody who was always doing more than your fair share, and you want to now pass the buck and say, actually, not pass the buck, but pass it on, saying, no, actually, you know, I'm not willing to do that. And it's the guilt that stops you. Okay, the feeling bad, the feeling the shame, or whatever it is. Okay, and normally behind guilt is some kind of shame as well, and buried fear, certainly, and also it could be anger. And I'm looking at these colors here. This is very much your throat chakra as well. I think you deep down know what needs to change, so don't feel guilty. You know, if the arrangement has changed, some kind of work arrangement or anything that's changed, do not feel guilty about having to offer your time or your services doing anything. Don't go out of your way to extend yourself. This is about time, about really enforcing your truth in an aligned way. What else am I picking up from this card? Yeah, you know, just trust and certainly use your voice. Okay, it really helps to communicate what you need to communicate in a very honorable way, in a way that is understood, you know, but also that that could create a win-win situation, really, because whatever you're making changes for yourself or need to speak up about would actually be the benefit for the other person. All right, whatever decision often that you also make about leaving a situation will actually serve the other person. So if you want to break away from a relationship or break away from something, just know that actually it's going to serve the other person too. It's going to certainly serve their growth. All right, and then and lastly, I'm going to also say about the scaletism. I can't help but look at the orange color here, and I feel like this is very career related for some of you. Okay, and some of you might be feeling a bit guilty about changing course, or maybe, you know, maybe releasing something that you don't really want to do, and you feel like you'll be obliged to fulfill that on behalf of other people or for other people. So, you know, do not let guilt, and maybe ask yourself, what is stopping me here? Is there guilt in this situation that I need to really look at closely? And if it is, don't be afraid to own it and to name it, and so you can make those changes for yourself. So this really requires inner strength. Okay, because I'm in a mood today with so many different cards, we're going to do the animal spirit wisdom. I don't really have used this before. I don't think so often for my readings, not for a long time anyway. But these are just the spirit animals, and we'll see, call on an animal power or the wisdom of the animal spirit that would actually also help us through this full moon. From this point, from whenever you hear this recording, you can invoke the power of, or the spirit of this animal that will support us certainly, and highlight what we need to take on. Okay, now so some of you, we all know that we've got totems, animal totems of our own. But let's see, for this full moon in Scorpio from April the 27th to the one in May. And I have no dates for that. This one's turned out okay. So now this one came out, which is really nice. So the power of the whale. Okay, it's actually said tenderness as well. So this is a really nice contrast to the inner strength, but also, I mean, the whale is a huge animal. It's very foreboding in sense it's big in size, but yes, it's the big mama of the sea. Okay, in the ocean, and it's the tenderness. So show compassion and forgiving what needs to be forgiven. So again, for some of you, it could be yourself. Okay, that maybe you've made a choice that you realize, God, I can't believe I've done that, or I've been binging and I really feel blah, or even somebody, a friend, or like I said earlier on, we're all here wanting the same thing, and sometimes when we see from the eyes of love as well, it doesn't mean to say we're a pushover, but we can actually also understand that perhaps showing some compassion and forgiveness to the others for their errors or for the way they behave, as well as your own, can and needs to be forgiven. So if you're in that situation at any point and you're feeling very emotional as well, because this Scorpio full moon will be bringing up the emotions for some of you, and there could be certainly some forgiveness work and some compassion that needs to happen, both for yourself and perhaps the person who has victimized you as well. Okay, so even the perpetrator, I can't say it, perpetrator, is hurting. Okay, they don't mean to do things, but they do that because they don't know any different. And so just understanding that, as you can see, there's almost like a cycle of the two whales there, that the two are the same, but it's played out differently. And by showing some compassion and forgiveness, you will definitely be able to work through it. Okay, anything else? Right, so just want to have a quick look at this deck. Sometimes I do this, right? I pack the cards up as I'm finishing the videoing, and what happens, I'm like, oh, I wish I looked at the bottom of the deck, which is, luckily I'm on it today. Okay, and so at the bottom of this deck is courage, and I really believe that we do need courage at the moment. All of us do. There's a lot of unknowns ahead of us, okay, and some of you be really going towards what you want to attract, but you still don't know where you're going. It's going to take courage. So, and if you do know where you're going as well, and you want to start, forging forward, it is very much about taking courage and finding the inner strength, which is also reflective of this card. Oh, sorry, this one. All right, it says here, I find the inner strength to face the fear with confidence. Okay, and there is a saying that I've lived by and encourage people to do. There are no challenges that the source gives us that we can't overcome. Okay, so you've got to know that. So if you find yourself in a situation that brings fear or frightens you, or you're not sure, just know that. Okay, this is how you invoke the power of your being and your inner strength. Okay, because you're never on your own, which actually is interesting, because I just looked at them on here. This is the army of life. Ask for help and seek support, because you're not alone. This was at the bottom of the animal deck as well. Okay, and so this is really important that you're not. And if you find yourself physically on your own, just call on your allies, okay, or archangels or angels, or speak to your deity. Okay, we are never on our own. Okay, and in fact, they say there's always an army of angels behind us as well, and sometimes we just got to remind ourselves that we're going to be fine and we're going to be led, and all we have to do is follow the trail. Okay, and go towards what needs to be that you need to be moving towards. Okay, I think I'm going to end it here because I feel like I've been talking for a long while. But I think I'm going to pull one of these cards for prayer. Okay, there are 3 cards here, and I'm not going to go all 3, I don't think. But anyway, this is from Tosha Silver's Wild Offering. This is about letting the divine take the lead as well. So this is really trusting your feelings. Okay, so do not deny yourself feelings. So again, if you're feeling afraid, honor it. Okay, if you're feeling vulnerable, honor it. Okay, this is not about bypassing anything, and just allow your emotions to be felt. All right, and it says here, you can't really surrender something until you deeply feel it. Okay, so again, if you're feeling pain, or you're feeling rejected, or you're feeling that you don't know where to go next, okay, and it says, allow me, dear divine, to offer all these emotions to you, feeling them fully, so they no longer hold me captive. A wonderful card to ponder on and to reflect for this full moon in Scorpio, because I really feel that the Scorpio moon will be bringing some strong feelings out. Okay, and then once you know that, and once you know that you're attracting certain kinds of people as well, honor it and just let it go. Okay, the other card, which I'll do next actually, is the forgiveness card, because 3 popped out. Okay, we were just talking about that earlier on, about forgiveness. So really forgive yourself and others as well, maybe even life, just sometimes handing you a roll deck or card each time. Okay, healing comes from acceptance. Help me, dear Lord, to fully accept what is, knowing that this alone will open me to the new. Okay, so accept the situation you're in, accept that you don't know where you're going, accept that you've got some, you've got to clear out your friends, accept that you've got some really old issues about rejection and abandonment or comparison that's running your life. Forgive those who've made you feel that way, but in accepting, we can move it. And we don't really need to keep holding on and rehashing it and playing it out. It's a bit like these AA people sort of say, I'm an alcoholic, over and over again. I'm a drug addict, or, I'm a this, I'm a that. That's kind of labeling. And I just personally think that's kind of affirming things that are not true anymore. Okay, so forgive yourself, forgive whoever, do some forgiveness work, do some digging. Like I said, get rid of the crap and keep the nuggets of what you've learned from that. Who have you become because of the fact that you got rejected when you were a child? You've become somebody with a warrior heart. Have you become somebody who sort of appreciates strength? Are you somebody with courage now, or independence? Okay, there's always an upshot from our previous pains. And finally, to end this wonderful full moon that we can really capitalize on, move towards the energy of positivity. Okay, and this is, again, like I said, you don't deny your feelings, but you certainly focus on what you've learned. All right, because believe me, there's always something that we have gained from what we experienced. Okay. And like I always say, people in our lives are in our personal movie, are in our lives because they're teaching us something, and there's always a wonderful gift in it. So you can turn that into the positive thing. Okay, it says here, if you can find even one thing to be grateful for, it will restore you to the light. So it says here, please, dear God, let me always feel gratitude for something, even a tiny thing, in even the hardest situations. Okay, and it can be a taste of a coffee, right? That, I have coffee and cream, and there are times I just take my first sip and I think, it's so good, and it's such a nice thing. So you all have your own moments of something that really gives you that sort of gratitude. It could be the bed, it could be the blue sky, it could be having legs to walk with, after having an injury. It doesn't really matter. Bring positivity, and certainly, perhaps while the storm is past or is passing or hitting you, it doesn't matter. But the fact that this is on the inversion, I can say that it's actually passing. All right, I did come in. So this is what I'm saying. Some of you could have experienced the storm already. Okay, and you could have felt a bit like, this is also reminds me of like the Tower card in the tower, in the normal tarot. But yeah, take any, jolt out of the blue as a positive wake-up call from the universe. Okay, any heartbreak that you might have had, some of you are definitely certainly releasing it as well. Okay, it's time for that. And do not spend time sort of rehashing any of the old pain, because this is now time for you to really release yourself from the attachments that don't serve you. All right, lovely to do this reading for you guys today. I hope you were able to take it all in. Thank you so much for listening. and all my details for anything are below. You do get I do offer a free PDF sheet that you can actually get by signing up to my newsletter, which is below in the description box, or you can actually go to my website, I think, and there's a link somewhere there, which will give you the template for doing any of the affirmations for each of the chakras. Now, I do recommend that you work on your inner strength one to support you for this particular full moon. And here's the book. I have the strength to face all of life's challenges with grace. Okay, so I'll repeat that. I have the strength to face all of life's challenges with grace. Okay, yeah, I know that I'm personally experiencing this, but you just go with life, okay, because life is taking you into space, and the more we can actually have a certain empoweredness within ourselves, we can also, and make your prayer so you can make this transition with ease and grace. So last time, I have the strength to face all of life's challenges with grace. All right, lots of love. Thank you for listening, and thank you for staying with this video as long as this. And I did say in the last one that anybody who actually writes to me via my contacts in my website as well, I will be offering you a free 30-minute reading. Okay, so if you've got this far and you've got this and I get a message from you, you will be getting a free reading from me. All right, happy full moon. Stay well, stay strong, surround yourself with good people. Don't forget to ask for help when you need it. And just certainly always know that source and divine energy is always with you, and just call on your support people as well as your friends who are there for you. Lots of love, and I shall end it here. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Bye.